enrich cultural diversity and to make the celebration even more meaningful, members of Parliament are requested to dress in traditional attires on Thursday, the 19th of March, 2026, as a symbol of national unity and appreciation of our diverse heritage. Members are further invited to gather in the National Assembly courtyard at 12 noon for a photo shooting and celebration. Honorable members in the Assembly's courtyard, honorable members, let us proudly celebrate one Namibia, many cultures. Further, I have been informed that the SWAPO party has made the following terminations and assignments of their members in respect of standing committees, parliamentary friendship groups, and multilateral parliamentary organization. 1. Termination of membership. The memberships of the following members in the respective committees and organizations are hereby terminated. Honorable Alpheus Naruseb, Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. Honorable Alpheus Naruseb again, Venezuela Parliamentary Friendship Group. Honorable Wahekwa Herunga, Interparliamentary Union, IPU. Honorable Pohamba Shifeta, Standing Committee on Gender Equality, Health and Social Welfare. Honorable Hilma Ita, Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. Honorable John Likando, Germany Parliamentary Friendship Group. Assignments. Honorable Christine Aindaka is assigned to the Standing Committees on Standing Rules, Orders and Internal Arrangements, Urban and Rural Development and Land Reform, Information and Communication Technology, and Gender Equality, Health and Social Welfare, which is reassigned from Honorable Pohamba Shifeta. She's replacing Honorable Shifeta. The Parliamentary Friendship Groups, UK, Morocco, and Algeria. Multilateral Parliamentary Organizations, Parliamentarians for Global Action, PGA. Honorable Alpheus Naruseb is assigned to the China Parliamentary Friendship Groups. Honorable Natangwe Ifete is assigned to the Standing Committee on Budget and Finance, previously assigned to Honorable Eliphas Ndingara, and he is assigned to the Interparliamentary Union, previously assigned to Honorable Wahekwa Herunga. Honorable Hilaria Mkapuli is assigned to the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, previously assigned to Honorable Alpheus Naruseb. Honorable Justina Jonas is assigned to the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, previously assigned to Honorable Hilma Ita, and she is further assigned to the Interparliamentary Union, previously assigned to Honorable Sharonese Bush. Honorable Ipumbu Shimi is assigned to the Parliamentarians for Global Action. Honorable Hilma Ita is assigned to the Parliamentarians for Global Action. Honorable Marilyn Bakera is assigned to the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, which was previously assigned to Honorable Feni. Honorable Modestus Achipara is assigned to the Germany Parliamentary Friendship Group, previously assigned to Honorable John Likando. I now declare the above-mentioned honorable members as duly assigned and to the aforesaid standing committees, parliamentary friendship groups, and multilateral parliamentary organizations. That is a marathon. Any messages from the head of state? Any petitions? Reports of standing or select committees? Other reports and papers? Notices of questions? Honorable Klute.
Time.
Okay, can you set the time, Secretariat, please, for the question? It's 3 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 26 March 2026, I shall ask the Honourable Minister of MIRT the following. The highest country in sub-Saharan Africa, just 250 millimeters of annual rainfall, ranking as among the 10 most water-scarce nations on earth. Crucially, 83% of that rain evaporates before it even reaches our taps. In this desert, water is not a commercial commodity. It is our primary life support system, an existential tension for Namibians. To control our water is to control our very survival as a sovereign nation. Yet today, Namibia's coastal water security is increasingly managed by foreign state-linked entities. The Erongo desalination plant is 90% owned by the French state via Orano. The new Erongo Sunam project gives the Chinese state-owned Swakop Uranium a 70% majority share. The problem here is not the investors, it is the regulatory vacuum created by this government. Article 99 of our Constitution is a directive for Parliament to adopt an investment code. Yet 36 years after independence, no such code exists for critical infrastructure. We remain tethered to the 1990 Foreign Investment Act, a law with no screening mechanism and no distinction between a private company and the strategic arm of a foreign government. Accordingly, I ask the Minister, does the Minister accept that by failing to finalize a modern investment code, the government has left a constitutional gap that allows foreign states to acquire our lifeblood without oversight? Second, how does the Ministry justify the absence of a critical infrastructure classification which would provide the legal certainty that high-quality private investors require? Specific track record of China General Nuclear Power Group before granting it majority control. Fourth and lastly, will they commit to submitting all future majority stake transfers of strategic infrastructure to state-owned entities for parliamentary ratification until a robust screening framework is legally enacted? Honourable Speaker, in a land of drought, water is survival. We have not attracted investment. We have created an existential vulnerability where a foreign capital's political agenda could dictate. The Constitution gave this Parliament the power to set the rules. This time the government allowed us to use it. I so submit.
Honorable Mulunga.
Honorable Speaker, I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 19 March 2026, I shall ask the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, Honorable Inge Zamwani Kamwe, the following questions. Honorable Minister, in 2021, Cabinet took a decision to dissolve Agri-BizDev following the accumulation of significant debt. Consequent to this dissolution, the agency's function and financial obligation, remuneration of its personnel were transferred to the Ministry of Agriculture. A tender to the value of approximately 5 million was subsequently awarded to Cha Management Consultancy. The scope of this contract was to finalize the dissolution of the state-owned enterprise and to facilitate the reintegration of its employees into the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform. The contract was originally scheduled for completion by the 11th of June 2025. However, owing to a range of challenges, the deadline was extended to 11 September 2025. Notwithstanding this extension, a period of 6 months has since lapsed. The affected employees remain without clarity regarding their employment status. Some continue to report for duty at the ministry, while others remain at home. Nonetheless, all individuals remain on the ministry's payroll. I therefore pose the following question. Number one, what steps has the ministry taken to provide the affected employees with formal clarity on their positions within the ministry? Number two, given that some former Agri-BizDev employees are reporting for duty while others remain at home, albeit with all individuals remaining on the ministry's payroll, what is the legal basis for the continued remuneration in the absence of formal employment contracts or reintegration? What is the total monthly cost to the ministry for the salaries paid to the employees? Number three, with reference to the tender awarded to Cha Management Consultancy, what specific deliverables were required under the contract to facilitate the reintegration of the staff? What are the deliverables met by the extended deadline of the 11th September 2025? If not, what penalties, if any, have been levied against the consultancy for their failure to complete the work? Finally, can the Honorable Minister inform this House on the timelines for the finalization of the agri-business dissolution process and the reintegration date of the employment status of the affected workers? I so submit.
Honorable Thomas.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, good afternoon. On Tuesday, March 24, 2026, I shall ask Honorable Inge Zamani, Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, the following question. Namibian people are complaining that the privatization of water that was reported in the Namibian press on March 13, 2026 is exacerbated. The government of Namibia received 30% of that purification production, while the Chinese state-owned corporation received 70%. That water is vital national resource. Water is life, and in water you find life. When we discuss national sovereignty, water is fall under the same category as land, mineral, and energy. It is not a collaboration at all to let a foreigner commercial company own and operate the main water productive countrywide. That is completely abduction of our sovereignty power on a resource that is essential to this water. Water is enough. The NAM Water is there as a state-owned company that is dealing with water purification. What is wrong with this? Therefore, I pose the following question to the Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, do you know of any strength or strength-disturbing business in water users? Why is water being privatized now? Why NAM Water is unable to keep up its regulatory water purifications? How impoverished Namibian citizen going to survive? Could the Honorable Minister elaborate on motivation behind this action beyond your ministry power? I so submit.
Please table the questions, Honorable Member. Yes, Honorable Minister. Okay, one moment. Let the member just table and then I'll hear that. Okay.
I rise on Rule 92.
92.
And to seek, point of order, to seek clarification that the question that the Honorable Bishop Thomas has just asked is very much similar to the question that the other Honorable have asked.
Honorable Mulunga.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That is noted, Secretariat. Please check that so that I can make a ruling on that one. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, Honorable, what point are you raising on? There is no one on the floor, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, I indicated that I'm going to check the questions and I'll make a determination. If it is the one that was asked by Honorable Mulunga concerning, by Honorable who? Klute. Okay. So I will, is it the one that is the, okay. I'll look at the question of Honorable Klute, and then I'll look at the one of Honorable Thomas and make a determination whether they are similar. Yes, thank you. Secretariat would help me in that regard. Now, Honorable Lizazi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the floor. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 26 March 2026, I shall ask the Minister of Justice and Labour Relations the following. Employing foreign nationals as truck drivers in Namibia requires both a valid work permit under the Immigration Control Act of 1993 and compliance with the Labour Act 11 of 2007. Employers must demonstrate that no suitable qualified Namibian is available for the position, and foreign workers must be recruited in line with Namibia's national labor migration policy. It has come to my attention that several transport and logistic companies are employing foreign nationals in significant number. Almost 9 companies are listed that employ more than 100 foreign nationals. Reports further indicates that some companies such as JGE pay foreign drivers in cash per trip, resulting in government losing taxi revenue. This situation is growing out of control, undermining the livelihood of Namibian truck drivers and depriving the country of much needed revenue. Furthermore, there are allegations of undocumented foreign drivers being employed. Against this background, I wish to ask the Minister of Justice and Labour Relations the following question. Number 1, how is your ministry ensuring compliance with the provision of the Immigration Control Act and Labour Act? Number 2, if the above allegations are true, what measures will be put in place to enforce compliance? Number 3, what collaborative mechanism will be established with the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, and Ministry of Finance to address this situation before it escalates? Number 4, what monitoring and inspection systems are currently in place to detect companies employing undocumented foreign drivers, and how effective have they been? Number 5, and the last one, what strategies does the ministry have to prioritize the training and employment of Namibian truck drivers, thereby reducing reliance on foreign labor in this sector? I so submit, Honorable Speaker.
The questions, Honorable Member. Honorable Brinkman.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I give notice that on the 18th of March 2026, I shall ask the Honorable Minister of Health the following. Honorable Minister, serious concerns are emerging from the Mariental District Hospital, which reflect broader systemic challenges within our public health sector. There are allegations of workplace bullying and intimidation affecting healthcare professionals, coupled with limited access to fair grievance procedures and delayed response from the human resource. There are also concerns that foreign medical practitioners may be prioritized over equally qualified Namibian professionals, despite locals possessing the necessary qualifications and competencies. Honorable Speaker, while there are clear guidelines indicating that probation for medical officers is intended to be a defined period, there are growing concerns that these guidelines are not being followed. Equally troubling are allegations that administrative personnel, specifically from the regional director, may be interfering in clinical decision-making. It is alleged that referral decisions made by qualified medical practitioners have been influenced or overridden by administrative leadership, resulting in potential preferential treatment of certain patients. I further wish to state that I am in possession of specific dates and time relating to these incidents and can provide evidence should it be required, Honorable Speaker. I ask the following questions, therefore. What urgent steps is the ministry taking to address allegations of workplace bullying, ensure functional HR support, and guarantee that complaints from healthcare workers are handled fairly and timelessly? What is the ministry's policy on recruitment and prioritization of foreign medical practitioners? And how does it ensure that qualified Namibian doctors are not overlooked in employment opportunities? Thirdly, given that there are existing guidelines governing probation periods for medical officers, why are these guidelines not being followed consistently, resulting in some doctors remaining on probation beyond the prescribed period? Number 4, is it within policy for administrative personnel, such as the regional director, to influence or override medical decisions? And what safeguards are in place to ensure that clinical decisions, including patient referrals, remain strictly within the authority of qualified medical practitioners and not with the regional director? Lastly, Speaker, what measures are in place to prevent and investigate allegations of preferential treatment or nepotism in patient care at health facilities like Marinda?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please table the question. Yes, she's very, very disciplined, you know. She has to follow instructions all the time. Honorable Hishono, you now have the floor. Please follow suit of Honorable Brinkman. Oh, okay. So let's wait first. Honorable Nashinge. Honorable Kandorodu.
Thank you so much, Speaker. I hereby give notice that on the 19th March 2026, I shall ask the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform, Honorable Inge Dhamani, the following questions. I would like to raise a concern regarding the current delays experienced in the land division process involving the ministry. Honorable Minister, Namibia offers a range of professional land surveying services for commercial farm, ensuring accurate and efficient land measurements and mapping. However, the Namibians are experiencing delay to subdivide their land and to get their waiver. Honorable Speaker, when one is selling a portion of your commercial land, you submit applications to the Ministry of Agriculture, the Department of Division of Land. They normally respond that they will attend to your application after 3 months, but the initial process can take place more than that, and after the board meeting, it takes another 2 months to prepare the minutes, and after that, those minutes need to be signed. It takes another 30 days, and more, and then if approved, it's communicated to the clients, and the clients take it to the surveyor to divide the farm. After that, the surveyor takes the information back to the Department Division of Land. Then they must sit to approve the process again for over 2 to 3 months. After they have approved, they send it back to the surveyor for this mapping and to be registered at its office for about a month again. After it's registered, it's sent back to the surveyor to give it to the client, for the client to apply for a waiver, and it takes about 90 days, 3 months. The whole process takes about 11 to 12 months. As I'm speaking right now, there are many people waiting for the approval of their waiver for about 2 years or more, which is very lengthy and frustrating process. Applicants are often sent back and forth between offices of the ministry. I hereby ask the following questions. Will the minister please tell the Namibian nation why is the process of land surveying and waiver so lengthy? How many waiver applications still pending for the past 3 years and why? How can the minister shorten the whole process from the surveying general to the waiver even to run for 3 months only? Why can't the minister have a commission responsible for apportioning of land to make the process more efficient and effective? I submit.
Please table
Can
the
I
questions.
submit, Speaker?
Yes, please, he may table the questions.
He's also very disciplined.
Yes, he is very disciplined. He slipped up the other day, but he's ready to make up for it. Yes, Honorable Mbundu.
Claudia.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 26th March 2026, I shall ask the Minister of Finance, Honorable Erika Shafuta, the following. There's ongoing concern among pension beneficiaries and employees regarding the manner in which income tax is applied to multiple income streams, in particular the surviving spouse receiving a pension allowance from the government institution pension fund, JPF, while simultaneously earning a salary from employers is subjected to tax deduction on both income individuals. However, upon receiving of tax certificate of Namibian Revenue Agency, NAMRA, these incomes are then consolidated and reassessed for tax purposes. This has created a widespread and justified perception that the same incomes is being taxed more than once effectively, penalizing compliant taxpayers and eroding confidence in the fairness of the tax system. Question. Honorable Minister, given the apparent inequity in the current tax treatment of combined pension and employment incomes, when will you personally intervene to correct this matter? And can you submit a clear timeline for resolving this? Furthermore, will the ministry undertake to audit and refund affected taxpayers who may be over taxes over this system? And by when can citizens expect both corrective action and financial readdress to be implemented? I so submit.
Please table the question. Honourable member. Honourable Kangulu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 19th March 2026, I shall ask my respected counterpart Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Honorable Franz Kaposi, the following question. Following the development regarding the proposed restriction of airspace by the Ministry over the reclassification of the FYM 401 airspace in the Rongo region, specifically around the Caribbean area, as per the report, and given the standard condition as per the International Aviation Guidance for such requirements over the sensitive military installation, including the training where aircraft operation could likely pose safety and security risk, and equally so given the concept from the Aircraft Owners and Pilot Association of Namibia that a move will disrupt the established flight routes and airstrip in the region. It further, the ministry should not seek to infringe and militarize the civil space, but rather respect the fundamental freedom as per Article 21. It is therefore important also to know that we continue safeguarding the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our republic with responsible caution and consideration. In that regard, I therefore ask the Honorable Minister the following question. What motivated the Minister to propose a significant wide length of airspace restriction of about 30 nautical miles in radius, particularly given the historical operation without permanent airspace limitation? What was the technical and operational justification for the size given? Did the Minister conduct any socio-economic impact assessment prior to this proposal restriction, particularly regarding the potential effect on tourism, commercial lodge, farmers, mining company operating within the radio. Was there any consultation undertaken with the stakeholders? Given the importance of the accessible airspace of tourism and other economic activity in the region, what measures is the ministry consider in mitigating the potential disruption of the sector? Finally, what critical risk, Honorable Minister, if any, has the ministry identified if the airspace remain open and under normal conditions and only restricted during the extensive exercise as it is commonly done in other jurisdictions? I so submit.
Table the questions, please, Honorable Member. Table the questions, yeah. Honorable Lutuhezi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, the 19th of March, I shall ask the Honorable Minister of Gender Equality and Child Welfare, Honorable Dr. Kantema, the following questions. Honorable Speaker, the recent case of a pensioner arrested at a village in the Onyanya constituency for allegedly starving and physically abusing a 16-year-old Angolan girl has shocked many, but the painful truth is that this may only be a tip of the iceberg. Across Namibia, minor children, especially from vulnerable communities such as the San, and also from neighboring countries like Angola and Zambia, are being exploited. Some are used as cheap labor on farms and in villages where they herd cattle and goats, or work in the fields. Others are brought into homes where they work as domestic workers or babysitters at a very young age. Many of these children are far from their families, not attending school, and living under conditions that no child should ever experience. Honorable Speaker, such practices treat children as workers rather than children who deserve care, protection, and education. This goes against the Child Care Protection Act of 2015, which clearly prohibits the exploitation, neglect, and abuse of children. It is also inconsistent with Namibia's commitments under the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of Children and the Geneva Conventions, which requires states to ensure that every child is protected from exploitation, violence, and degrading treatment. I therefore ask the following questions. What concrete measures is the ministry taking to identify and stop the exploitation of minor children who are being used as laborers on farms, in villages, and in homes as domestic workers or babysitters across the country? How many cases of child labor, abuse, or exploitation involving minor children have been recorded in the past 3 years? What coordination exists between the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security to rescue these children and ensure that they are placed in safe and protected environment? Lastly, what stronger enforcement measures will the ministry take to ensure that the Child Care Protection Act is properly implemented and that those who exploit children are held accountable? Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I so submit.
Please table the questions, Honorable. Yes. Honorable Lucato. Honorable Lucato.
Honorable Speaker,
Honorable Lucato is waiting
members
for the House
of the
to be
Parliament,
silent.
and the leaders of various political parties, good day and thank you for the platform. Today, Tuesday, 17 March 2026, I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 26 March 2026, I shall ask the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, my relative brother, Honorable Franz Kapofi, the following questions. On the remoteness allowance of the can you silence please? On the cleaners at Greenwell Matongo Military Barracks in Katima Mulilo in Zambezi region. Honorable Minister, all civil servants that work 10 kilometers away from the town are entitled to the allowance in question. The citizens at 262 Motorized Infantry Battalion at the Greenwell Matongo Barracks, well known as the former Pacha military base, work 20 kilometers out of town but have not received their allowance up to date, spending 40 Namibian dollar per day transport. Namibians want to know. First one, why have the civil servants at Greenwell Matongo Barracks not received their allowance? The last question, have you looked into the matter? If so, when will they start receiving their Honorable Speaker?
Okay, table the questions, Honorable Member. Now, yes. Now, Honorable Mbula. Honorable Mbula. Honorable Mbula has the floor.
Yes.
perhaps give a ministerial statement soon on how the Namibia Action Plan to combat and guide on the prevention of human trafficking has actually its assessment on the effectiveness ever since it was developed in 2023, because it's a 2023 to 2027 plan. So this human trafficking involves quite a number of things, whether it's luring people, local Namibians for work under false pretenses, or even human organ harvesting. And it's really becoming a serious concern. So can Honorable Minister agree with me on that? That it's probably time to update the nation. Thank you.
Minister of Home Affairs.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, for raising that concern of trafficking in person. This issue is an issue that cuts across various sectors, not only safety and security, but Ministry of Gender and some other stakeholders. And I want to agree with you that we need to fast track, especially the legislative framework, to address many of the loopholes that would necessitate us to combat the increasing incidents of that nature. And the specific policy you are referring to is a shared responsibility between us and the Ministry of Gender. And we agree with you that going forward we are going to fast track its conclusion and its implementation. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Honorable Narusebe and Honorable Binge Sheundo are now appearing ahead of Honorable Ampanda. Are these questions or they are motions? Okay, then I give the floor to Honorable Ampanda, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in African cosmology, the community is understood to consist of three interconnected beings: the living, the unborn, and the dead. The living have a sacred responsibility towards both the dead and the unborn, as their actions have the potential to affect the generations yet to come. The dead are not merely remembered. They are regarded as active members of the communities whose spirits can be disturbed or angered by the conduct of the living. Africans are spiritual beings, and death is a deeply spiritual and personal experience. When it occurs, specific rituals and taboos must be observed. Failure to do so can have serious spiritual consequences. The introduction of foreign concepts, such as designation of chief mourners, has caused confusion and cultural dissonance in our society. Let's ask, in whose cultural tradition does the concept of a chief mourner originate? To Africans, when death occurs, the roles and responsibility of all are clearly defined and understood. It is known who must light the fire and who must remove the ashes. There is no place for a chief mourner in these customs. The imposition of this foreign title has led to an awkward translation and cultural misunderstanding. In Oshiwambo, for example, the term has been rendered as Mwenewesa, owner of death, or Nakuliradingi, the one who cries the most. Often, the chief mourner, Mwenewesa Nakuliradingi, does not shed a single tear. Sometimes this role is delegated. Imagine Honorable Balotti, the chief mourner at my funeral. This creates a hierarchy of mourning unknown to our traditions, one that places a stranger above the widow, the children, and the sibling of the deceased. Let it be remembered, once the burial is over, the chief mourner disappears, never to return to the widow and the children. Beyond the chief mourners, there are concerns with how the state conducts burials in a manner that disregards indigenous customs. Cemeteries are not merely disposal sites. They serve as cultural compasses. Growing up, we are advised that if lost, one can find direction by observing the orientation of graves. Tombstones are traditionally placed facing the setting sun. In the Zambezi region, for instance, burial customs dictate that women and men are laid to rest in specific different orientations. Furthermore, it is required that someone be present inside the grave to receive the coffin or body, a culturally rich experience. The current theatrics surrounding chief mourners and state-organized funerals pay little attention to these deeply rooted traditions. This raises a fundamental question. Honorable Speaker, are our dead truly resting in peace? In light of the above, I hereby give notice that on Wednesday, 25 March, I shall move that the Assembly, 1, discusses the expropriation and appropriation of African mourning and burial practices through imposition of foreign concepts such as that of chief mourner. 2, deliberates on the relationship between cultural practices and the role of the state in burial ceremonies with a view to ensuring that state involvement respects and aligns with cultural values and spiritual beliefs of the communities itself. I so submit.
Table the motion, Honorable. Table the motion. I see that the Secretariat has allocated 5 minutes there. They were not following the announcement by the Speaker. Please comply with the announcement. Yeah, Honorable Narusep.
Yeah, no. Honorable Speaker, I move without notice that leave of absence due to illness be granted to Honorable Paula Cooper from the 17th to the 27th of March 2026. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Mbinge Sheundo. Set the time, please.
The constant food poisoning incident in the Kavango East and West region has become a serious public health concern, affecting the safety and well-being of different households and school children in hostels. According to local daily newspapers, over the past 3 years, repeated outbreaks have resulted in more than 30 fatalities and number of hospitalization. On 24 March 2026, I shall therefore move a motion in this August House in debate the underlying causes of the food poisoning situation in the Kavango East and West region, and further examine existing response mechanisms, strengthen interministerial collaborations, and recommend effective interventions to improve food safety, public health awareness, and emergency response system in Kavango West and East regions. I further call for this motion to be referred to the relevant parliamentary standing committee for further scrutiny and detailed considerations. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, please table the motion, Honorable Member. That was very brief. Yes, Honorable Lucato.
Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, today, Tuesday, 17 March 2026, I hereby give notice that on Tuesday, 24 March 2026, I shall move that this August House discuss and agrees to table the motion to manage Namibian minerals and resources Namibia still relies on foreign countries to polish minerals and resources, creating employment opportunities in foreign countries, while many Namibian graduates remain unemployed. The foreign countries benefit so much more from Namibian resources more than Namibians. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, thank you. Table the motion, Honorable Rukato. Any ministerial statements? Yes, Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to offer a ministerial statement, Honorable Speaker, to commend how you yourself, Honorable Speaker, as the leader of our Parliament, and all the women parliamentarians are looking so beautifully this afternoon in the chambers, representing the cultures of our country and representing the Women Caucus. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. In fact, honorable members, I was supposed to announce, honorable members, before we honorable members, honorable members, I was supposed to announce the election of presiding officers or presiding members and office bearers of the Women Caucus, but I was not assisted with a draft here. So Secretariat, please make sure that we have that for tomorrow. That's an important institution. Now, honorable members, I want to thank you for the way that we have managed the routine. I see Honorable Kapofin, does he want to make a ministerial statement? Yeah, because it's tea time and we want to rise now for... Yeah, okay, Honorable, is it to congratulate the ladies or?
Comrade Speaker, I'm not going to respond to the story of Chief Mona now. I will give that at that appropriate time. Comrade Speaker, I just want to request or to invite all the honorable members of the House that on Saturday, Commerce Region will commemorate the independence anniversary at Sam Nujoma Stadium, and I would like to I'm inviting all of you to be there. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Now on that point, we rise until 16 hours. Okay. No honorable members. Yes, please let's take our seats. Okay, now we just concluded ministerial statements. Now reports from the Committee of the Whole Assembly and consequential proceedings. Then orders of the day. The Secretary will read the first order of the day.
Second reading, appropriation bill.
When the Assembly adjourned on Thursday, the 12th of March, 2026, the question before the Assembly was a motion by the Honorable Minister of Finance. Honorable Lizazi adjourned the debate, and he now has the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the floor. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the principle of this vote is the provision and administration of justice and the protection of labor rights. These are not luxuries. They are the backbone of democracy and economic stability. While we acknowledge the efforts of the ministry, we must confront the persistent shortcomings in how resources are allocated and managed. Citizens want to know that this budget restores their dignity, and today I wish to examine whether it does. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, to turn to the provision of justice. Our lower courts are operating under deplorable conditions. In Rundu, for example, and other many parts of Namibia, magistrates and prosecutors are compelled to sit on broken chairs while administering justice. This budget makes no provision for such basic necessities. According to African standards, each magistrate should be supported by 2 prosecutors. By international standards, at least 3. Currently, we have 122 prosecutors in our country. In reality, one prosecutor is often forced to serve 2 courts concurrently, sometimes expected to be, for example, in Kahenge and Kurenkuru at the same time, leading to burnout and inadequate preparation. Circuit courts sometimes do not operate because there is no transport for legal officers. Despite these hardships, our prosecutors remain committed, even cleaning their own offices and working without proper security. The principle at stake is Article 12 of the Namibian Constitution that guarantees every person the right to a fair trial. If we guarantee that right, we must also fund it. An unfunded right is a broken promise. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the backlog of criminal cases is unacceptable. The Honorable Minister of Finance stated in her budget speech that government will pilot out-based budgeting in selected ministries. I propose the Ministry of Justice and Labor Relations to be the first beneficiary of this initiative. Increasing prosecutors alone will not solve the problem. We need case management, reforms, and digital systems that actually work, not the broken ones that we are having now. Legal aid remains underfunded. During the 2024-2025 financial year, 9,518 people applied for legal aid. Only 5,984 applications were guaranteed. 62.8% approval rate. That means over 3,500 Namibians were denied access to lawyers by the state. We call for resources to facilitate mobile legal aid units and stronger partnership with civil society because access to justice should not depend on where you live or how much you earn. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, estate administration is plagued by delays and corruption. In 2025, at least 5 civil servants in the Master of the Higher Court office were dismissed or suspended for corruption and theft of deceased estate. Families wait years for closure of the trust application received last year. Only 55% were processed. While digitalization is welcome, decentralization is essential. Magistrates should be empowered to handle estate up to 2 million to bring services closer to the people and reduce the corruption that festers in a centralized system. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I must raise the principle of law reform. In November 2024, this government used a proclamation written in 1927, 97 years ago, under colonial rule to extend voting days for the presidential and National Assembly elections, a law older than the United Nations, older than the Namibian independence. The Child Justice Bill still not finalized up to date. The Ombudsman Bill not finalized. Colonial era laws continue to govern key sectors, and the budget contains no clear timelines for tabling of bills or annual reporting in Parliament. After 35 years of independence, this House must ask itself, why are we still relying on the colonizers' proclamation? Allocation must be tied to clear timelines for law reform. Honorable Speaker, honorable funded, it receives 109 million, 0.09% of what the presidency receives. Its own Director General has stated publicly that allocated funds are not sufficient. We demand stronger independence, increased investigation capacity, and mandatory reporting to Parliament. Mandatory reporting to Parliament, I emphasize. The Ombudsman's office is vital in protecting human rights, but remains under-resourced. We call for extended regional offices and guaranteed independence from executive pressure. We call on this House to consider these proportions. Administration costs should be limited and funds redirected to frontline services. As the Minister of Finance herself stated, and I quote, every dollar must deliver maximum impact, end of quote. Currently, the impact is being absorbed by the back office. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, labor disputes are rising in Namibia, yet Inspectorate and the Office of the Labor Commissioner remain unable to handle the volume. Over 5,000 complaints are filed every year. Fewer than half are resolved. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the system is so strained that the government itself is proposing a new independent commission to handle disputes, but this budget does not fund it. And here is my concern. The budget speaks about the workforce, but it speaks only about civil servants. Government is the biggest employer, yes, we agree, but it's not the only employer. What is in this budget that caters for the well-being of the workforce outside the civil service? For example, farm workers and the domestic workers. The constitutional promise of fair labor practices under Article 95 extends to every worker in this republic. I will address the specific allocation at committee stage. But without accountability, transparency, and measurable outcomes, it risks becoming another exercise in spending without effect. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, as the official opposition, the IPC demands that every dollar be tied to performance indicators and that Parliament exercise its oversight role vigorously Prosecutors sit in broken courts and clean their offices. Family wait years for deceased estate. Colonial laws from 1927 govern our elections. The anti-corruption is stopped. Workers complain, go unanswered. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I do not support this appropriation bill because the principle upon which it is built do not support the Constitution of this Republic. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes. Honorable Achipara. Now, honorable members, the parties with time allocated today are IPC, LPM, NDP, RP, and SWAPO party. Now, the next is Honorable Achipara. Has the floor. Set
Yeah,
the
thank
time.
you very much, Honorable Speaker.
The camera.
Yeah. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the 2026-27 budget is anchored in Namibia's long-term development goals, including the NDPC and Vision 2030. It prioritizes industrialization, poverty reduction, inclusive growth while navigating global economic challenges. Key focus areas include free education, youth empowerment, infrastructure, and physical sustainability. The budget balances developmental needs with fiscal consolidation aiming to reduce deficits, manage debt, and enhance efficiency in public spending. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, no one disputes the goodwill of the budget. Deservingly true, a significant portion of 54.3 billion is allocated to social services, underscoring the government's commitment to human capital development. Education receives substantial support, covering free early child development to secondary education, subsidized tertiary education, and vocational training to bridge industrial skill gaps. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, youth, macro, and SME funding is put in place to transition young graduates into self-employment, migrating from social sector, the consuming, to the productive sector that grows the economy, aka productive sector. My salutations to the Honorable Minister of Finance. Health is critical for any productive nation, and I am pleased the budget focuses on transforming public health facilities to compete with private sectors. The health allocation addresses our key promises to the very people we represent in this House. The promise to recruit health professionals such as doctors, nurses, support staff to improve patients' care, and the promise to develop infrastructure such as new clinics, health centers, hospitals, regional referral hospitals, and upgrading existing facilities. And the promise to implement digital health infrastructure for electronic records and telemedicine. And finally, the promise to implement direct procurement from manufacturers to secure reliable medicine supplies. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, and the Namibian people out there, it is worth noting that our social protection programs have notably reduced poverty from 82% to 17.4%, narrowing inequality as indicated in the Gini coefficient from 71.1 to 59.1. It is a significant and remarkable success. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the safety and security sector received the second largest allocation of 17 billion, reflecting the government's commitment to peace, security, and stability. This budget sends a strong message to perpetrators of gender-based violence and child abuse, while equipping our men and women in uniform with the necessary resources to perform their duties. Honorable Speaker, the Namibian Correctional Services Food Production Directorate exemplifies a transformative model of turning social protection funding into economic productivity by producing 1,500 tons of maize meal and 1,166 tons of wheat flour per year. This initiative can successfully feed 12,000 inmates across all our correctional services facilities and police holding cells for 3 years without any further harvest. This is a self-reliant and food security in action, showcasing social welfare investment can directly contribute to the economic growth. Despite its achievements, the Food Production Directorate requires deliberate and sustained funding to purchase essential equipment such as silos, tractors, combined harvester to overcome operational challenges. Honorable Speaker, though Namibia budget deficit for 2027 is projected at 16.12 billion, which is 5.5% of the GDP, with the total expenditure estimated at 105.92 billion and revenue at 89.8 billion. Key fiscal management strategies is rightly put in place to mitigate this reality and improve our revenue collection.
Tell them the truth.
Honorable Speaker, while acknowledging that significant progress is being made, it is imperative that that discussion to drive economic and revenue growth takes center stage. For Namibia to drive production growth, narrow the gap between the expenditure and revenue, economic research and our political argument stresses the importance of leveraging the country's abundant natural resources, addressing economic weaknesses through strategic initiatives outlined in the NDP 6, SWAPO Party Manifesto, and its 2025-2030 implementation plan.
Only SWAPO.
My argument includes, but not limited to, the following. Fast-tracking the beneficiation policy to increase Namibia's share in mining, as seen in the diamond industry, beyond the current 7 to 10. Establishing a national task force to renegotiate and directly report to the highest office with clear milestones. Additionally, Namibia needs to relentlessly advocate for export ban on raw materials, emulating Indonesia's model to encourage domestic processing and refining, thereby boosting local productivity, economic value of our resources. The trend is now common over African countries. Agriculture is identified as a top priority in SWAPO Manifesto implementation plan for its potential to create more employment. It is prudent to prioritize agriculture by establishing new commercial firms on communal lands rather than purchasing inflated existing commercial farms through the failed willing seller, willing buyer. By removing or expediting the veterinary red line and creating liquidity, bankability for these assets to generate quality employment and stimulate economic expansion. Honorable Speaker, rather than shutting down well-attended struggling SEOs, it is best recommended to bail them out, appoint qualified and experienced management to boost production and revenue for the state. Specifically, I want to highlight the immediate need to bail out sea flower in the fishing sector to restore jobs, lost jobs, and advance the Namibianization project. The restoration of national airline is also commended as a step in the right direction.
Yes. Swaponjo.
Urgent finalization of the Namibia Equitable Economic Empowerment Framework need to be expedited. I will repeat, urgent finalization of the Namibia Equitable Economic Empowerment Framework, NEF, need to be expedited. This bill is critical for addressing socio-economic disparities, historical injustice as enshrined in our Constitution. Honorable Speaker, honorable members,
Yes.
as elected honorable members of this House, and taking cognizance that the budget serves as a tool for the service delivery to the very citizen whose mandate elevated us to this House, it is just in order to urge all honorable members to support the people, productivity, and prudence budget. I conclude with a reaffirmation of a national unity of one Namibia, one nation. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Hishono.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when I stood in this House for my maiden speech, I spoke about the creative arts, an industry that deserves its own dedicated office, its own institutional home, an industry capable of producing national and international artists, creating jobs, generating exports, and putting this country on the world map. I said then that this government does not treat the creative economy seriously. I'm here today to prove it with numbers, with the government's own promise and with this budget. Vote 27 receives 750 million. Sport development and sport facilities together take 45% of that vote. The creative industry, the president pledged to double, receives 50 million. That's 6.7%. Of that, only 5 million goes to awards, festivals, and summits. I asked the government, what were the measurable outcomes of last year's allocation? How many jobs? How many businesses? How many exports? Because I could not find those answers anywhere in these estimates. These estimates, one, the SWAPO manifesto promised 2 billion for the creative arts over 5 years. This budget gives 50 million. At this pace, it's going to take 40 years to deliver 5 years with commitment. Two, the SWAPO manifesto implementation plan commits 1.7 billion per year to youth empowerment, 6,000 funded businesses, 20 micro enterprises annually. Youth development receives 118 million. That is 7%. Where are the 6,000 businesses? Show this out. 3, NTP6 targets creative GDP from 0 to 2.8 and the creative employment from 0.2% to 2%. Globally, even in developing countries, the creative sector employs only between 1 and 3%. To get from 0.2 to 2% requires massive pipeline investment. 50 million does not build a pipeline, it builds a ceremony. 4, the president pledged to double creative GDP from 1.5% to 3%. This budget allocates 6.7% of one vote to deliver a presidential commitment. That is not a plan, that is a wish. Honorable Speaker, let me say something that this House needs to hear. The sports business model this government is pursuing does not work for Namibia. Namibia has 3 million people. That is the population of a medium-sized city. We do not have a professional football league that fills stadiums. We do not have a cricket circuit, a rugby premiership, or a concert industry that can sustain a 40,000-seat venue week after week. Honorable Speaker, protect me from the SWAPO members who are disturbing my speech. Protect me. Honorable Chair and others.
No.
As I continue.
May we have silence in the House, please?
The economics are simple. If you cannot sell tickets, you cannot pay for maintenance. And if you cannot pay for maintenance, the state pays. And how long? Forever. Look at what we already have. The Independence Stadium projected overhaul cost of 2 billion and is allocated 450 million, then cut by 200 million in the midterm review. Design submitted to CAF in December 2025 is still awaiting compliance approval. Not one brick was laid, and yet we are spending billions on a facility that will host how many events? 10, 20? Who is doing the maths? There's a Seminoma Stadium. When last was it full? I will tell this house. A chula chula, maybe. A music event, not a sporting event. And after that, it's empty. That is the current business model. Build it, launch it, and forget it. The manifesto promised second.
Honorable members, we are reminded not to bang on the desk because the hands are uncomfortable.
The manifesto promised second category stadiums in all 14 regional capitals. Feasibility studies done only in Katiba, Mulilo, and Okuo. 2 of the 14 regions. At this pace, 35 years, and a few days ago, there was a groundbreaking ceremony in Ohangwena. There was a crowd, applause, a ribbon was cut. Politicians love groundbreaking ceremonies. But we never see the building completed. Honorable Speaker, let me tell this House what happens when countries build stadiums for political prestige. South Africa spent 1.1 billion on 10 stadiums for the 2010 World Cup. You are not listening, that's why you are missing it. The Moses Mabhida Stadium in Durban now loses between 6 and 10 million US dollars every year. The Polokwane Stadium has no local team. It sits empty, a permanent financial burden on the municipality. And South Africa has 62 million people. They have a Premier League, Soccer League, they have a rugby union, an international cricket team, and they still cannot fill those stadiums. If you want to build more. Honorable Speaker, this government has committed free tertiary education. Welcome. But NAST is at 16,000 students, full capacity, with 429 hostel beds. NAST needs 626 million. UNAM needs 850 million. Total shortfall, 1.4 billion. The government allocated 663 million for free education, but no cent went for expanding capacity. And consider this, only about 30% of matriculants currently qualify for university. We already cannot accommodate them. What happens when the pass rate improves? We are telling teachers to work hard. What if we reach 60%, 90%? Where do we host these children? At the beginning of this year, parents were camping at schools trying to secure placement already. Over 1,000 learners were left without school places. And let me address the employment question directly. The SWAPO government campaigns on sport and creative arts at every rally. But these sectors, as currently funded, create almost no jobs. No creative sector. The creative sector employs only 0.2% of Namibia's workforce. NTP6 targets tenfold increase to 2% by 2030. Without the pipeline, instruments in schools, trained teachers, export facilitation, it creates more unemployment because it raises expectations it cannot meet. And those stadiums, what can you tell me? They create construction jobs during building and nothing sustainable after. No event, no ticket sales, no viable leagues. The jobs end when the cement dries. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, yes, you can hear me very well. The creative arts must be treated as an industry in its own right. Every year, UNAM and the College of the Arts produce music and art graduates. Qualified professionals, that Shitana agrees with me there. Where do they go? They are not employed. There is no program to deploy them as music teachers in rural schools. The pipeline produces graduates. The system refuses to absorb them. Namibia is all we have. Namibia is not for sale. We can and must save it. Thank you.
Honorable members, no banging on the desk. No banging. Honorable Clerk. Larsen. Honorable members, please don't bang on the desk. Yes, yes.
Good afternoon, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, and thanks for granting me this opportunity to add my voice with others on the budget. I rise today to wholeheartedly support the budget presented by our distinguished Minister of Finance, Honorable Erica.
No banging, no banging.
And I wish all members could have done the same. This is more than a collection of fiscal figures and accounting ledgers. It is a blueprint for a nation's future. It is a testament to the responsible stewardship of our economy by the government and a concrete action plan to deliver on the promises we made to the people through the SWAPO Party Manifesto. Invest in people, powering prosperity. In the Minister's words, in advanced communities, growth is projected to remain broad and steady, increasing marginally. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I wish I could have spoken later and not after the honorable member that just spoke now. Because, or why? Because I would have loved to take him on each of those points of him, especially where sports and the stadiums are concerned, but I'm not going to do that. Honorable Speaker, let me just touch on a few matters that are of interest to me. Hailing from the coast, I am happy to hear, thank you, comrade. Sorry, honorable member, I'm happy to hear that the Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Agriculture, that the pilchard fish show some significant signs of recovery. Although the industry might not be wholeheartedly ready with enough vessels and so on to go out to catch these fish, I believe the ministry is working hard on this species to recover to its former glory. Now for members, this new year, in 2015, I spoke quite deliberately on the pilchards and also how the pilchard was overexploited during the years of apartheid. Our fish before independence, our fish was by the colonizers. They really exploit these pilchards. That's why we had to put a moratorium on this, and that's why now, for many years it was not caught. There is science. No, it's pilchard. Listen to pilchard. The science is there that they recovered. I look at the geopolitics and what is happening in the world at large currently. It is going to affect us on one way or the other way. Petrol will increase. Fluctuations of the dollar.
Respect the honorable.
We are really currently, and I think most of us, when we are at home, we are in front of the, thank you. We're in front of our TVs to see what is happening in the world. I want to zoom into our budget for defense. This is a vote that I seriously support. And let's take a look at the current war in the Gulf states and how this war is being fought. This war that is currently fuming between Israel and the US on one side and Iran on the other side. What we can learn from this war, it is currently mostly fought in the air through firing missiles, drones, etc. I believe most of us are following this. Also, at sea, the warships and torpedoes. This is the modern way of having war. Underwater mines, this is things we didn't know even exist. But now there's a strait, my neighbor here, what is the name of that strait? Strait of Hormuz. Hormuz. That is now what is going on. And that strait to be open, if that strait is not open, it's going to punish a lot of people that are fighting in this war. Just today, I heard that one of the top leaders in Iran, Ali Larjan, he was killed today. And he is one of the top Iranian officials. Question to Speaker and our members. If we are listening and we are watching on TV this war, in most cases, I'm sitting silently, Honorable Speaker, and I'm listening to people, you know.
Yeah, Honorable.
And I behave myself to the best. And some members, I see them as good members that they can drink coffee with, and so on. I see them now are very disrespect, yeah. I forgive you.
I remind the members, Honorable Member, that in terms of the rules, a member that is on the floor must be heard in silence. Yeah, and the rules do provide for the presiding officer to ask that a member be disciplined, be sent to a committee for disciplining. I know that that has never happened before, but truly we are pushing the button. Yeah, so please, let's have the quorum in the House. Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I look now at the time and I see my time has really moved too much. So I will end with this one, that Minister of the Defense and my chairman, Honorable James, this is an area we really need to look into very, very serious, and on Ministry of Defense and how we can assist Ministry of Defense. Because if we look at what is going on in the world, we talk about something like IUU. I once spoke to the minister and said, our Navy vessels will also join this fight against the protecting of our marine resources. It's very important. The apparatus like satellites, drones, vessels, aircraft, this cost for these things is no jokes, but it can protect our country and resources. Ask my honorable pilot sitting there. This is things that is needed for our country. And the budget that we are currently having, we cannot do, but we need to think we are a country, a sovereign country, and we need to be ready to protect ourselves. Thank you. Minister of Defense and Minister of Finance, this needs special attention. Honorable James and these two ministers, also Mukopo Bimakar said. Yeah, we need to sit together, that's what I'm saying. I agree. Let's look into education. And what can I say for education that was not said yet? I want to clap for our President, Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, for vision, especially on sports. The Swabi Party Manifesto gave a clear outline on how to proceed on constructing new stadiums, etc. Last week, I attended a rugby tournament in Naraval. Naraval is a small suburb. And the stadium was for almost more than 8 years. It was basically abandoned to various reasons. I went to this tournament there, and to my surprise, the stadium was full. Honorable Shona, the stadium was full. There was more than 1,000 people there on that small stadium. Okay. And the grass was there. Community, yeah, but it's a stadium. Community, it's for the community. And that community really appreciate what the government is doing. Our assistance for sports is needed, and we thank the budget and the Minister of Finance for what they have done, and they have increased it. Because it's a sport is not just one of those economic sectors, but it's also contribute to the physical, mental, and emotional well-being that ensuring a more productive society. I'll go to my last point, and that is a very emotive one. It's about housing. And We really need to do more about housing. It's not just to put houses. It's a whole process. And seeing I have 26 seconds, I will cut through all those, and I will just say the last piece. Minister of Housing, Urban and Rural Development, Minister of Finance, please put your heads together also. We need to look into the shack dwellers. That is a model that is working, and those people, they are constructing houses at a very cheap price, and we need to work together with them. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mbundu, honorable members, Honorable Mbundu, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise today mindful that a national budget is more than numbers. It shows our priority, our courage, and our commitment to the people we serve. The 2026-2027 budget is about 104 billion in spending, with revenue projected at 89.8 billion, and a deficit of 5.5% of GDP. It aims to reduce debt and restore a positive balance. These are serious objectives, and we appreciate for the fiscal discipline they signal. Public debt is over 65% of GDP. Interest alone will take more than 18% of revenue. Fiscal discipline is not optional, it's necessary. But bigger budgets do not automatically improve lives. The question is simple. What did last year's budget actually deliver? Honorable Speaker, honorable member, fellow Namibians, before we spend new billions, we must ask, what did 2025-2026 budget make a real difference? While houses were reportedly built, youth loans approved, hectares planted, and teachers recruited, the deeper question remains, did this translate into measurable improvement in housing shortages, youth unemployment, food security, and education quality? Honorable Speaker, outputs are not outcomes. Did agriculture allocation lower food prices? Did youth program create real jobs? Can families feel better health services? Has education quality improved? Not just access. If we cannot answer yes, we are budgeting for activity, not for transformation. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, fellow Namibians, debt servicing ate a large part of revenue. Interest alone is above 16 billion. Every dollar spent on interest is a dollar not spent on housing. Jobs, electricity relief, or helping families. Yes, reduced deficit is right, but primary surplus that leaves unemployment is high is not a victory. It's a postponement. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, fellow Namibians, let's speak about youth unemployment. The budget gives 257 million to the youth fund, plus support from public enterprises. But hundreds of jobs are not enough. Where is a clear national program that guarantees large-scale work for our youth? Our young people want work, not workshops, loans without markets, training without jobs. This is not enough. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, fellow Namibians, let's speak about agriculture. The budget gives funds to support farmers. That is welcome. But this fund creates real food security and jobs. Our farmers face high costs for seeds, fertilizer, irrigation, and equipment. If we do not lower these costs and expand support, food prices will stay high, and small-scale farmers will struggle. We must ensure that allocations are used to expand irrigation and water supply for farms, provide affordable inputs for smallholder farmers, improve storage and transport to reduce post-harvest losses, create links for farms to market for produce. This is not just about planting hectares. It's about putting food on tables, jobs in community, and incomes in households. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, fellow Namibians, electricity and utility costs remain high. The budget gives funds to expand rural electricity, but households need immediate relief. No residential electricity subsidy is included. Expansion alone will not ease struggle families. Growth policy must include affordability. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member, fellow Namibians, our pensions deserve more than 100 Namibian dollars. They support entire household. I propose an increase pension for at least 1,000 Namibian dollars, if not possible this year. The government must show a credible plan to restore dignity over a few years. Dignity delayed is dignity denied. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member, fellow Namibians, defense takes 7.5 billion this year. National security is important, but we must ask why spending so much before Parliament sees August 26 report. Transparency and accountability are needed. Article 63 of the Constitution gives this House oversight. Without it, Parliament is weakened, and so is democracy. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member, fellow Namibians, if we are serious about housing, we must reprioritize. The Ministry of Urban and Rural Development has 1.9 billion with 744 million for development. National Housing Enterprise has 1.5 billion in loans for 2,300 houses. This is not enough. Even a 5 to 10% of defense allocation could change the game. 5% of 7.5 billion is around about 375 million. 10% is around about 750 billion. Servicing an urban plot costs between 85,000 to 120,000. The 375 million could service 3,000 to 4,000 plots. The 750 million could service 6,000 to 8,800 plots. This is arithmetic, not ideology, in 1 year. Modern reprioritization could exceed current housing delivery. The question is simple. Are we securing territory more urgently than we are securing dignity? That is a responsible prioritization within a 104 billion budget. Honorable Speaker, critique without solution is incomplete. Let me propose 3-pillar fiscal reset to guide us. Pillar number 1, growth above consolidation. We cannot just stabilize. We must grow beyond 4%. We can do this through large-scale urban land service, energy reforms to lower costs, infrastructure project to create jobs, export-driven industrial corridor. Growth must be a deliberate strategy, not a projection. Pillar number 2, smart reprioritization within the budget. We do not need extra borrowing. We need a sharper prioritization. Keep operational growth below revenue growth, shift slowly from operations to development, redirect non-critical funds to housing, education, and jobs, align salaries with productivity. Consolidation must change structure, not just preserve it. Pillar number 3, revenue sustainability. We rely too much on SACCO to be strong. Broaden the tax base without taxing the poor. Encourage informal business to formalize. Digitize revenue systems. Growth non-traditional export revenue. Resilience is economic independence. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member, fellow Namibians, we are not calling for dismantle of defense. We are asking for proportionality. We are not attacking the presidents, but this is a moment to reprioritize. No child must learn under a tree. No teacher must teach under a tree in independent Namibia.
Yes, please.
The present budget could reduce to redirect education to build classroom in every corner. Every child deserves a classroom. Every teacher deserves a school. Leadership must show restraint in a time of fiscal strength. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member, fellow Namibians, as I'm concluding, I urge the Minister to reprioritize funds to urban and rural development for education, service, land delivery, upgrading informal settlement, low-cost housing, rural infrastructure, classroom and schools infrastructure, Housing and schools are multipliers. A young person without a land has no collector. Without collector, no finance. Without finance, no business. Without business, no jobs. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, fellow Namibians. Lastly, this is not an attack on government. This is a defense of the vulnerable. Yes, stabilize debts, yes, restore balance. Yes, reduce the deficit, but do not stabilize stagnation. Do not consolidate inequality. History will judge us by results for people, not by neat numbers. Let this budget be disciplined, but let it also be bold. I thank you.
Honorable Navas Estayele.
So they are starting. I rise, thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I rise to contribute to the budget presented by our able Honorable Erika Shafuta, Minister of Finance. In the same vein, I wish to congratulate her for a well-balanced budget amidst the increased global economic pressure that continues to affect the third world countries. My contribution will address the abundance of our existing and newly discovered natural resources, which I believe can function as both a blessing and a setback, if not well managed. This God-given abundance is often seen and regarded by many as a double-edged sword, quote unquote, that is heavily depending on the quality of system, institutions, and governance framework. Namibia, like other African countries, is exceptionally blessed and rich in mineral resources, stocking vast reserves that are crucial to the global economy and energy transition, particularly in cobalt, gold, diamonds, copper, and uranium. Key mineral-producing nations, including DRC, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Botswana, and Namibia, that drives the continent's resource-led economic activities. These resources provide the required capital for development, leading to lower economic growth and poorer governance outcomes, a phenomenon known as resource curse or paradox of plenty, quote unquote. Global instability is a major concern, with Global Risk Report 2026 indicating that the world is experiencing a turbulent environment that continues to proliferate global conflict and economic pressure. This level of instability is characterized by unified risks that include geopolitical pressure, economic instability, and the aftermath of conflict in Middle East that impact global supply chain and proliferate inflation. The scramble for Africa commenced in ancient times due to Africa's natural resources. In spite of this, African countries remain rich in oil, diamonds, and other minerals. Paradoxically, African countries continue to experience low levels of economic growth and development. In contrast, we have observed that in the second half of the 20th century, many East Asian economies experience rapid economic growth and achieve Western living standards, despite having no exportable resources. Many African countries that have discovered resources, including Namibia, currently have cause for concern, recognizing the dangers of the resource curse and are taking serious action as the first important step in trying to combat it. In the book titled The History of African Development, published by the African Economic History Network, I wish to draw your emphasis to Chapter 18 under Natural Resources, a blessing or a curse, quote unquote, which gives an account of a unique historical and institutional setting. In the same vein, Nigeria's history, for example, on the other hand, represent a classic case of resource case. A case in point is the Democratic Republic of Congo. A country rich in minerals continues to grapple with environmental degradation, poverty, armed conflict, and human rights abuse because of foreign interference and interests. What I'm driving at is that despite the African continent holding approximately 30% of the world-known minerals, 40% of the world gold, and up to 90% of the chromium and platinum, as well as significant percentages of diamond reserves as per the UN Environmental Programme 2024 population or publication. We are still not yet there in terms of equality. It is sad reality that many African nations frequently struggle to protect their minerals wealth from influence or exploitation by stronger nations. Despite our wealth in minerals, Africa has no decision-making body. Like UN Security Council. This body needs to be reformed. Reform the national security. Reform the Security Council. The late Mugabe has pleaded, may his soul rest in peace. And the faster it happens, the better for the underdeveloped and the developing countries. This reminds us of the colonial era, where Europeans extracted African resources with little to no regard for existing local governance practices, leaving the colonies underdeveloped and politically fragmented. The lack of political will among African nations hampers the beneficiation of our economies. In my opinion, this situation has reduced African states to mere recipients of aid. In fact, we are fervent advocates of bad business and economic malpractices in view of the value chain that has been directed to foreign processors and manufacturers. If you can remember the state of Libya during the rule of President Muammar Gaddafi, may his soul rest in peace, Libyans enjoyed security and safety, economic stability and low cost of living, functional public services, and national unity. This may be attributed to use of oil and gas reserves towards transformation African countries to a wealthier nation. I hate to say, my point therefore is, despite holding mineral wealth, we, the developing countries, especially in Africa, have become targets of superpower countries' aggression, being sidelined in negotiations and decision-making bodies, experiencing exploitation, unequal and new colonial-style relationships with stronger nations. We have witnessed some of the leaders being eliminated or captured by the superpower nations of the world under false pretext of weapon of mass destruction, dictatorship, and many other made to believe the fabricated and deceptive lies from the West, while their true intentions are to get their hands on the natural resources of Africa. I wish to emphasize that throughout history, nations that have discovered strategic natural resources have often chosen to safeguard them by placing their management under the highest authority of state. This is done deliberately to protect such resources from corruption, undue influence, and external pressure that can undermine national sovereignty and the interests of the people. The decision by the aid administration under the leadership of Her Excellency, the President Nedupo Nandi-Ndaitwah, to place one of Namibia's most recently discovered strategic resource in the name of oil under her direct supervision is both a prudent and visionary initiative. This approach is neither unusual nor unprecedented. It is the practice of states that understands the immense opportunities and equal significance risks that accompany the discovery of valuable natural resources. Again, history has shown that when natural resources are not carefully protected and strategically managed, they can become sources of instability rather than prosperity. It is therefore incumbent upon us as leaders sitting here, all of us in this August House, with the future of this nation, to ensure that Namibia's wealth benefits the Namibian people, both now and for generations to come. It is my wish that we buy into the vision of Her Excellency, the President, to safeguard our natural resources, and I so submit to what.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Amtenya. Honorable Amtenya.
Now, Honorable Speaker, honorable members of this August House, I rise today as a proud member of the ruling party, SWAPO, to contribute to the general debate of the budget, a budget that continues to reflect the aspirations of our people, the resilience of our economy, and the commitment of this government to inclusive growth and shared prosperity. Honorable Speaker, last year during this same debate, I raised a number of critical issues affecting our people, particularly the youth, informal traders, farmers, and working class citizens. Today, I stand not only to reiterate those concerns, but also to commend the government where progress has been made and to urge further actions where gaps remain. Firstly, on the strengthening of the informal economy, Honorable Speaker, we emphasize the need to provide adequate economic infrastructure and social amenities strategically positioned to support productivity. I'm pleased to note that this budget reflects increased allocations towards market facilities, sanitation, and trading hubs across regions. The visible efforts by the regional leadership, including the governors and regional councils, to identify and develop such infrastructure is commendable. However, we must accelerate the implementation to ensure that informal traders who form the backbone of our grassroots economy operate in dignified and enabling environments. Secondly, on inspections of businesses and skills transfer, we called for the thorough inspections to determine the number of foreign workers, their skills, and whether meaningful skills transfer is indeed taking place. Honorable Speaker, while some progress has been reported through the Ministry of Justice and Labor Relations, enforcement must now become more rigorous and systematic. Skills transfer must not remain a policy inspiration. It must be a measurable outcome. Our young people deserve real opportunities to learn, real opportunities to grow, and lead in their own economy. Thirdly, on youth employment. Unemployment remains one of the most pressing challenges facing our nation. This budget continues to prioritize job creation through public works, entrepreneurship support, and sectoral investments. However, Honorable Speaker, we must move with urgency. The introduction of digital employment application system is no longer optional, but it's a necessary, or it is necessary. Young people should not be burdened by the high costs of manual jobs application. This is a practical reform that can significantly improve access and fairness. At the same time, I must express concerns over the increasing trend of contract-based employment, especially in the mining sector, where workers are denied full benefits despite being qualified. I urge labor inspectors to act decisively to protect the dignity and rights of our workers. Fourthly, on sport development and education. Honorable Speaker, we advocated for the recognition of sports as a promotable subject and the professionalization of sports careers. It is therefore a matter of great pride that the University of Namibia has introduced a Bachelor of Sports Coaching with approximately 40 students enrolled this year at the University of Namibia. This is a milestone worth celebrating. Equally commendable is the ongoing construction of sports stadiums, 2 per region, with a strong focus on rural areas. The groundbreaking ceremonies led by governors and the RCC demonstrates that development is reaching all corners of our country. This is how we nurture talent and create opportunities for our youth. Honorable Speaker, it is deeply disappointing to witness some members of parliament dismiss the potential of sport development in Namibia. Such views undermine the hopes of countless young people who see sports not just as a passion, but as a pathway to opportunity, a pathway to discipline and economic empowerment.
Sit down. Sit down.
Sit.
Speaker.
Honorable members.
Sit down.
Can we have orders, please?
Sit,
George. Please
Speaker,
take your seat.
can I be protected?
Sit down.
You are protected. George, sit.
Protect me, Speaker. Sport is a growing industry globally, creating careers on and off the field, from athletics to coaches to administrators, marketers, tourism, media producers, content creators, and entrepreneurs. To downplay its value is to ignore a powerful vehicle for youth development and national progress. A critic's statements against sports development is deeply out of reach or out of touch with the inspiration of the Namibian youth. So let it be clear, Honorable Speaker, the future of Namibia's economy will not be built by thinking that sidelining emerging industries like sports, we cannot tolerate it. Sports is a multi-billion dollar global sector, and Namibia cannot afford to continue losing opportunities in this industry. Therefore, to the young people, do not fall prey to such political influence perspectives. Stay focused, continue to train, organize yourselves, and position yourselves to benefit from the sports industry. Your dreams are valid, and your potential is undeniable. The future of sports in Namibia will not be determined by doubt, but by the determination of our youth. Honorable Speaker, while we continue to recognize the creative sector as a vital economic driver, more must be done. I reiterate that all ministries, the state-owned enterprises, and even private entities must institutionalize budget allocations for creatives in every official programs. This is how we transform talents into sustainable livelihood. On healthcare and pharmaceutical regulations, we called on the Ministry of Health and Social Services to fast-track regulations on the pricing of essential medicines and to eliminate middlemen in procurement. I am encouraged by the recent reports from the Honorable Minister indicating progress in this regard. These reforms are critical in making healthcare more affordable and accessible to our people, and we must ensure their full implementation. On land servicing and urban development, Honorable Speaker, this remains a serious concern. While many families and individuals, especially young people in Windhoek, have received pre-approvals to build homes and buy homes. The lack of service lands continue to delay their dreams. This budget must empower local authorities with the machineries, the equipment, and the skilled personnel required to undertake land servicing at scale. Furthermore, Honorable Speaker, municipalities and town councils must prioritize the development of industrial areas. These are essential for boosting local manufacturing, supporting small businesses, and obviously creating jobs. On agriculture and local markets, while we commend the government effort in promoting local food production, communal farmers still face limited access to markets. I strongly urge that procurement policies for public institutions like schools, hospitals, and correctional facilities be revised to include local produces such as mahangu, beans, nuts, and oshikundu. These are not only nutritious, but also culturally relevant and economically empowering. To this end, Honorable Speaker, now the last one is on the access to and affordability to energy. Yes, Honorable Speaker, access to electricity remains a key enabler of development. Yet the cost of purchasing transformers and connecting to national grid remains unaffordable for many individuals and small businesses, particularly in rural areas. This has long been a barrier to economic participation. In this, therefore, highly commendable that individuals and businesses can now be connected to the national grid through an innovative financial mechanism under the solar revolving fund of the Ministry of Industry, Mines and Energy. The provision of loans payable over 60 months, while already connected, is a progressive intervention that directly addresses affordability. With that, Honorable Speaker, I do support the budget.
Honorable Matundu. Honorable Matundu.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, it is an honor and privilege to stand before the August House to add my words to the previous speakers.
Can you take a seat? Half a minute, please.
Please, it's on the time.
Just asking for your indulgence, Honorable Speaker, going forward, because some of us are new, I just want to find out from you, Honorable Speaker. When a honorable member contributes on an appropriation bill from the other side, does it mean that the other honorable member must contribute by answering or attacking the honorable member's speech directly? I am talking to the speaker.
Okay.
Is it allowed?
Yeah, okay, I'll answer.
Because we still have some members who have not spoken.
Okay, honorable.
So we want to find out if it is allowed.
Yes.
So that we can also do the same.
You see, when a member is making a contribution, Honorable Matundu, just one moment, members. Honorable Matundu, one moment. Let me respond to the Honorable Likando. A member is at liberty to express whatever view they want to express during their contribution, provided that they are not violating any rule. And there is no rule that says when a member has expressed a view, another member cannot contradict it. There is no rule that says that. And therefore, a member is having a right. The only thing that a member doesn't have a right to do is to rise on a point of order, to disrupt another member and try to contradict what they are saying. But if they take their own floor, they can contradict what the member has said. Now, Honorable Matundu may proceed.
Time, please.
Okay, Honorable Matundu.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, it is an honor and privilege to stand before this August House to add my voice to the previous speakers who supported the appropriation bill for the 2026-2027 financial year. I acknowledge the tireless work performed by the Minister of Finance and her team to make this budget presentation a reality. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to Honorable Sharonese Bush, who has been elected chairperson of the 8th Parliamentary Women Caucus over the past weekend to lead us in advancing gender equality, strengthen women's legislative roles, and mainstreaming gender perspectives in policy. I equally congratulate all the beautiful women of Namibia who have celebrated the International Women's Day on the 8th of March. Best wishes. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the financial year 2024-2025 is now behind us, and we are looking forward to the future with our eyes set on what lies ahead in 2026-2027 financial year and beyond. As we turn the page to the next chapter, ahead lies Vision April 2026 Presidential Directive, which we need to realize as a matter of urgency. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, every implementation plan succeeds when it is properly implemented. Allow me to congratulate and thank Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Namibia, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, for coming up with this very important Vision April 2026, which is rooted in dignity and equity, with its main aim of transforming re-engineering our state health facilities to bring them to the same level as those in the private sector. In the same vein, I equally congratulate the Minister of Health and Social Services for the mass recruitment of 2,307 health workers since December 2025 to date. What a fantastic milestone. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, as a political office bearer who has been advocating for the improvement of quality of health services in a public health facilities, I wholeheartedly welcome Vision April 2026 Presidential Directive because its aim and objective will serve in the best interest of the people countrywide. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the Vision April 2026 Presidential Directive is facing various challenges because you cannot try to get your house in order by transforming or redesigning it to a certain level, and at the same time you have already planned to move in a house ahead of final inspections. Ahead of September 2025, the Ministry of Health and Social Services has done a comprehensive readiness assessment on the conditions of the state health facilities across the country and various challenges as per the 4 key pillars: human resource for health, availability of medicine and clinical supplies, medical equipment and technology, and infrastructure and transport has been identified. What I'm trying to say is that let's be first focused on the complete re-engineering process before moving to the next step of transferring the CMS members who are shifting to the state health facilities as private members until the final comprehensive assessment, which will serve as a go-ahead tool, is done. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I am saying this because I don't want the government to find itself in a predicament of going back to square one. Therefore, I urge the Ministry of Health and Social Services to do a final comprehensive assessment check on the facilities that they have identified to make sure that all the challenges they have identified are addressed. CMS itself is currently undergoing a reform, and they are yet to establish themselves on the way forward. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, as we are approaching the Vision April 2026 Presidential Directive, I am expecting to see an improved smooth operations at all our state health facilities with no special preferences given to certain patients by making sure that the long waiting in queues has been drastically reduced. Because the government's aim is to fix the public health system so that all Namibian people, irrespective of socio-economic status, can enjoy the same quality of health services. The current status quo says, as of 1st of April, the first phase of the target group will be shifting to the state health facilities. As a politician who are wishing for the successful implementation of a Vision April 2026, I don't see myself continuing paying CMS because we have been advocating for equal health services for all and it has arrived. No patients should be referred to go buy medicines to private pharmacies. Public pharmacies must supplement one another. In case if Coma-style clinic pharmacy has no certain medicine prescribed than other pharmacy, then the other pharmacy should step in to assist the patient and should not be left to the patient to go out and try to go pharmacy by pharmacy to go look for medication. But it should be the responsibility of the pharmacist to check on his or her system where the patient can go to get the medicine. In 2 weeks' time, let me assume that a politician or senior government official will be admitted at a private ward at the Windhoek Central Hospital. How much is the cost involved? As a patient, I have the right to know beforehand because I am the one paying for it. I urge that the ministry should not shy away to benchmark with the private sector in order to achieve what we want to achieve at our public health facilities as government. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Namibia has a conducive environment for foreign and domestic investors to invest in various sectors of the economy. Our country has launched the 6th National Development Plan last year, which prioritizes industrialization and value addition, mineral beneficiation, agricultural transformation, digital development, and empowerment of micro, small, and medium enterprises. Therefore, our ministry, which is responsible for international trade, has a mandate to find key strategic partners with deep industrial capacity and technological expertise, which is well positioned to contribute meaningfully to the attainment of these national ambitions. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, in conclusion, I once again support the appropriation bill. Thank you for your kind attention.
Yes, thank you. Honorable members, now Honorable Lukato's party only has one chance to contribute to the budget. And we now only have 15 minutes. We cannot accommodate 2 members today. So for purpose of equity and justice, I will give the floor to Honorable Lukato. Now, I want to say once again to the members, no, LPM has spoken once, and you also have time on the 19th. Now, and I want to say to the members, I plead with you every day for us to limit questions. You don't want to cooperate. From now on, I'm no longer going to exercise this discretion. If we are going to spend as much time as we want on questions and motions, then when it's time to knock off, I'm no longer going to try and accommodate members. So for today, I give the floor to Honorable Lukato. Yeah. So, because we need to understand the consequences of our refusal to be cooperative. Yeah. Yeah. Honorable. Yes. Honorable Lukato respects other MPs, and he should be accorded the respect that he gives other members. Please, he must be heard in silence. Honorable member, proceed.
Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, thank you very much for the floor. Yeah, on behalf of the National Democratic Party, NDP, with the powers vested on me by the NDP Constitution. Today, Tuesday, 17 March 2026, I rise before this august House to contribute to the National Budget Bill, which was tabled by the Minister of Finance, Honorable Erika Shafuda, on the 25 February 2026. Firstly, I rise to commend and salute my relative sister, the sitting President of the Republic of Namibia, Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, for the action response to one of my appeals to her, which was to pardon the political prisoners. Her leadership capacity or on engaging all political parties is highly recommendable. I just want also to appeal to her that apart from the political parties in parliament, she must also engage all political parties registered with ECA in Namibia. This House witnessed the financial method every year in the name of financial budgets. This is of course a routine in every working democracy, which is seen as a good governance. But contrary to the next financial speech delivered in this House on financial accountability, it is shameful to witness the budgeted money being spent and fail to reach the people and the purpose it was indeed for, through corruption and other dubious schemes. Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, the President and the government should take note that we are no longer living in the 1960s, but we are now in the 21st century, which has come with digitalization and information technology. When the leader of the country promises things which he or she cannot fulfill, that political speech will be replayed by those who recorded it. The 100 Namibian dollars now being budgeted as an increment to the senior citizens is a default on the promise made last year, in which senior citizens were previously promised 3,000 Namibian dollars. Madam Speaker, the elderly are the backbone of our society. They have taught through hardship, built this nation with sweet and raised generations on make means. The promise of increasing the monthly pension to 3,000 in the 2025 financial year is not just a political commitment, it's a moral imperative. In June 2024, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, the Vice President and the presidential candidate for the ruling party, made a heartfelt promise to our senior citizens that the monthly old age pension guarantee would be increased from 1,600 to 3,000 should she be elected. Now, Madam President has assumed the highest office in the land, but following her inauguration, She stated that the increase will not happen in 2025, citing youth development as the current budgetary priority. I acknowledge and respect her leadership indeed. The youth are the future, but let us also not forget our pensioners, raise those very youth, and now they are being asked to wait again. The elders have waited for too long for this promise to be realized, but without any triangle results. I believe this country, with a small population, has enough resources to take care of the older people, for them to lead a decent life. Honorable Speaker, members of the Parliament, therefore, Honorable Speaker, this Parliament has a duty to reaffirm that the promise of paying the senior citizens the 3,000, point of correction, 3,000 Namibian dollars promised to them. We must prioritize the elderly, not just a matter of policy, but as a matter of principle and a moral duty to respect our senior citizens. We must remember that dignity and retirement is a human right, not a campaign slogan. Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, turning now to other issues of concern in the budget allocation, Madam Speaker, I would like to pick on the monies allocated to the following ministries. Number one, the Minister of Education deserves more than 28,001,365, which was allocated. Silence. I'm busy reading the figures of the state of many schools in this country. Now, can you silence, please?
Honorable members, let's hear the honorable
listen,
member.
You won't, if you are making noise, you won't hear.
Yes, that is true.
Please.
That is true, honorable members. That is true, honorable
If
members.
you got
everyone
ears, you
yourself,
must
honorable
please
members.
listen.
Let's all just
okay. Of
comply
many
with the
schools
decorum.
in this country, now that both secondary and tertiary education are partial free, many learners and the students are either sharing textbooks or are without textbooks at all. In addition, Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, the infrastructure in many schools remains, you are not an English person.
Yes. Yes, honorable members.
Okay.
Proceed, please.
Remains
You are correct.
Displaced and sanitation has become a serious health hazard. The results in our schools remain incomplete with our schools and in the SADC region. Research and curriculum improvement should be taken seriously in our schools to include comparative subjects like entrepreneurship, technical, and vocational courses. I'll send you out. The Minister of Health and the Social Services, Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, is the second largest reception of the national budget, with the figures already indicated. Namibia has been experiencing a disturbance.
Honorable member, you will continue during committee stage. During committee stage, you will have the opportunity to contribute to all the votes. So your time is up for today, and we have the last person for today, who is Honorable Bush. There is only 5 minutes left. You can speak for 5 minutes and you continue tomorrow for the remaining 5.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
No, please don't do that. Honorable Lukato, what is it? What is it, Honorable Member?
The Honorable Speaker, I've been disturbed.
Yeah, I know.
So I just want to ask you that, with your respect, to give me even 3 minutes so that I can...
Yeah, we are about to knock off time. Yeah, Honorable Member, okay, kindly take your seat. Let me provide the ruling. Let me provide the ruling. I see a lot of people usurping the power of the presiding officer to make a determination. These are the same honorable members who refuse to agree to the practice that we have to suspend the routine of the day so we can go straight to the budget. Yeah, and I'm not going to be coerced in that manner. So it's unfortunate that I cannot accommodate Honorable Lukato, but like I said, there is a committee stage. Honorable Member, you will be able to contribute. As an only representative of your party, you have the opportunity to contribute to every vote. Yeah, so let's uphold the rules. Let's uphold the rules. Yeah, but the member has already taken the floor, Honorable Lukato. No, the member has already taken, we are now wasting time because we will now go to knock off time. Yeah. No, Honorable Member, it will set a precedence. Let us just continue, Honorable Lukato. I hear what you are saying. But please, let's just go to committee stage. Now the member has already taken the floor. To give a floor and revoke it to give it to another person, it's really disorderly. It's very disorderly.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, looking at the time, I wish therefore to postpone the debate to tomorrow, Wednesday, 18 March.
Yes, thank you. So the debate is adjourned until tomorrow. We only have 2 minutes to go. We can't cover anything under that item. So the House rises on. Oh, no. I asked the Prime Minister to adjourn the House until tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I don't know if it is on. Is it on?
Until tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. We can't adjourn without me adding my voice to the manner in which our women here today are dressed. Honorable Members, let's give them a round of applause. And that includes Honorable Speaker. And so on that note, I move that the House stand adjourned until tomorrow. No. 14:30.
Yes. Thank you. The House adjourns until tomorrow at 14 hours 30.